Audio. Thank you. Thank you. See, always working. I appreciate that. Anyway, good evening, folks. It's Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight's episode is The Leader Who Failed Only Once. Today, we'll be talking about Council Member Shanae Williams and District 1, where she represents. The council member recently left a comment on a post on my Instagram page in reference to a remix I did using Majority Leader Tasha Diaz's vocals. I got the vocals from a meeting that she got very excited in, and began to yell across the room at council member Shanae Williams. So I did tag her in it because I thought it was funny. And also, the vocals say political games that are being played. And I believe that exactly what is going on here in the city of Yonkers. Political games being played. Well, who are the people playing games here in politics? Well, after the comment that Shanae Williams left on my Instagram, I started to realize she was one of them. She said to me she didn't know what the post was about and that she was not going to get into it. Her focus was serving her constituents to the best of her ability. Okay, if you say so. If you say so. Well, recently there's been a rash of shootings and a suicide on Warburton Avenue. A gentleman killed himself over apparent issues in his personal relationship with his mother's child, or the child of his mother, I should say. A few days after that, at 52 Main Street, police officers were called there to an apartment where a man brandished a weapon, I believe shot at police, missed, cop shot back, shot him in the leg, and another officer jumped out the way to avoid being hit by a bullet. He was rushed to Jacoby Hospital. Well, the reason for that incident was the gentleman, only 24 years old, wanted to commit suicide. And his idea was suicide by cop. For those of you who may not know what that means, that's when someone wants to die. So they contact the police, they show a weapon, could be knife, gun, or whatever, or do something aggressive behavior towards police, and they will, they hope to get shot and die that way. Why was it that a 24-year-old man was such in a position or state that he called the police in hopes that they would kill him? 24 years old, so much life to live. And now I started to wonder about this and the councilwoman. What is being done in District 1? Now, District 1 is plagued by many problems: violence, theft of stores. I don't know if many of you may remember the incident that happened at the supermarket there, where a couple guys got beat up by the employees because they were stealing shrimp. And the Getty Square area has now become a hangout for individuals who are homeless and are also addicted to drugs. But the drug addiction is many times the result of their mental health issues. Many times people self-medicate when having or dealing with mental health issues because that's the way they cope. Many times that's the only way they know how, and that's the only way they can cope. It's easier to get drugs on the street than it is to get help, right? So I started to do a little digging, and I was very surprised when I came upon the Yonkers website, the city website, and learned that our District 1 council leader, Shanae Williams, is also the chairperson for the Community and Mental Health Services Committee. I thought that was interesting. Very, very interesting. I want to just bring that up here. So you see there, Community and Mental Health Services Committee, chairperson, Shanae Williams of the 1st District. Other members include Lakeisha Collins-Bellamy, City Council President, Anthony Moranti of the 6th District, John Rubo, Majority Whip and representative of the 4th District, and Corazon Pineda Isaac, representative of the 2nd District. So, Councilwoman who represents the 1st District is also the chairperson of the Mental Health Services Committee? Really? So I wonder why she wasn't more involved. I wonder why she didn't speak about the incidents that happened there in her district. Is she trying to keep it hush hush? That area is being developed, right? And they're looking to get people into the area. And if people are hearing about violence, mental health, homelessness, drug addiction near and around the developments, they're less likely to go there and rent. In fact, I see many people posting on the Westchester County page or these Yonkers pages that are coming from the city asking for advice. Where should we move to? We're looking to move to Yonkers or to Westchester, and we want to find a nice community with good schools, no violence or little to no violence. And Yonkers, New York is usually not the place they recommend. And if they are looking for a place in Yonkers, it's not near the waterfront, that's for sure, because that place has been plagued by problems, issues, violence, drug addiction, and mental health. And what's being done about it? What initiatives are being done? I tried to research, I tried to find something, and maybe I didn't dig hard enough. Maybe I didn't dig long enough. I don't know. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, and maybe I made a mistake in not finding something sufficient and impactful to give praises and credit to this committee. After all, I believe they do receive an additional amount of money to be in this committee or to chair the committee. So, what are you receiving, or what are you doing for this money you are receiving? Forget about the money. What are you doing to help the people that obviously are in need? All you have to do is walk through your district. I do it almost every day, and I don't see you. I don't think you are. In fact, I actually saw you once. I was at Paxos. I was eating, and I was actually on my way out, and I saw you hopping and skipping all the way into Paxos, and you were meeting with someone, right? This was after the Somos things, I believe, and you look nice, fresh, and relaxed from your beautiful vacation there. Remember that post? Caused quite a stir. Quite a stir. So what are they doing? I don't know, because I didn't find anything. Maybe someone can comment and tell me exactly what's been done, because I love to be corrected, especially if it's in a positive way, because I want things to be happening. But let's talk a little bit about the councilwoman, give a bit of brief background. She was appointed to city council back in 2018. And I wanted to mention this, right? It's not important, but I wanted to mention it. She had the highest GPA award for her class. Why did I mention that? Because I think she liked it. Anyway, she served as business administrator for the New York Assembly, along with Mike Spano. So that's where she developed her relationship with Spano. According to sources and people out and about in the street, she is known as the mayor's girl. Although they say that that has been changing because of an incident that happened where she went against her handlers, the system, the machine that brought her into politics here in the city of Yonkers, and that has groomed her to be who she is today. Although I like to think she would, or I like to believe that she'll probably credit herself with that. Anyway, after graduating from college, she worked full time at City Hall as the executive assistant to Mike Spano. She then went on to obtain her MBA. Congratulations, with a concentration in leadership from Walden University. She was born in Jamaica, where she immigrated at a young age here to the States, attended Yonkers Public Schools, and has been a resident of District 1 for over 15 years. She has been a Democratic district leader, Hudson River Community, or a member of Hudson River Community Associations, the NAACP, Westchester Black Women Political Caucus, which I hear gives her some strength, which is why she's felt emboldened to go against the machine very recently. She is a former board member of the Municipal Housing Authority here in the city of Yonkers, and has served as the liaison to Mike Spano's African American board. Currently, and this is according to LinkedIn, works at the law office of Vaccaro and White. And on her LinkedIn, she says she will do everything in her power to improve the quality of life for all her constituents. Check this one out, and I underlined it in my notes. Provide local jobs. I'll get back to that in a minute. Fight for students of Yonkers Public Schools, protect and provide for seniors, veterans, and the underprivileged/poor. Now, why did I underline provide local jobs? Well, because her district is being developed like crazy. And one of the biggest issues that I've talked about, and one of the podcasts that have gotten probably some of the most views, has been the issue on the local jobs, local labor not receiving any work on these developments, if any at all. And very recently, that was an issue with the Lionsgate development. Although you can't blame Lionsgate, guys. It's really not Lionsgate. It's the developer of the studio, and it's the owner of the land, Joe Cotter, who's very well known here by the establishment, as he's been around in Yonkers for a long time and has owned that property since the late 90s. In fact, has owned much of Yonkers since the late 90s. So that's who you have to go after. But if you claim to provide local jobs or work and do everything in your power to provide local jobs, then why haven't you done just that? These developments have gone up in your district with little to no work for the local guys. None at all. Have you sat down with the local unions, with the local labor unions? No. You're sometimes buddy and sometimes not buddy, on and off again friend. John Rubel recently touted that there would be over 2,000 union workers at Lionsgate, although he was referring to those who work in the film industry. But if you say that you fight for your constituents to provide local jobs, then how are you ignoring such a huge issue? How are you ignoring such a huge opportunity to provide jobs for your constituents? Unless you believe that your constituents are not in construction, are not electricians, are not plumbers, and every other labor union that we have here in Yonkers and Westchester. I understand you don't represent Westchester, but you do represent District 1. You do represent Yonkers, and you represent a lot of people who are considered local labor. So if that is a fact, then show us that is a fact. Show us, because I'm sure the local labor guys would love to get a call from you and see you push hard, especially on those developments that have received YIDA tax benefits. You have no problem with that. They should be getting jobs. You fight for students of YPS. Well, depending on who you ask, most people will say that the schools need lots of improvements. So please, again, come on here and correct me if I am wrong. I am always willing to stand corrected, and I will give all praises to whatever it is that you have done that is positive to improve our school system. 1,000%, because this is not simply to attack the councilwoman, but to have transparency, because we need to know what is it exactly that they're doing. Besides chatterboxing, what are they actually doing? How are they impacting the community in a positive way? We keep voting for them. They must be doing something right. Or do we just not know who else to vote for? Or are they the only candidate in the race? Well, moving on. Again, she claims to do everything in her power to fight for her constituents, which include underprivileged and the poor. Again, how are you working to help the underprivileged and the poor? How? Please tell me how. Exactly how. Exactly how. And I will tell you a story. At one point, I did reach out to the councilwoman. I reached out through her directly, didn't get a response. Well, my office did. Reached out through a mutual associate. The associate got back to me, and this was regarding the homeless problem that we are seeing here in Yonkers, particularly in her district, and she referred me to the county. Pass the buck, pass the buck, pass the buck. But you are the chairperson for the Community and Mental Health Services Committee. How do you pass the buck? How do you pass the buck? But that's the answer I got. That's the answer I got. So I reached out to the county legislator for that district. The buck went back to Shanae Williams. Let me tell you a little bit about her work experience as it reads on LinkedIn. And I just picked out what I thought was interesting. Shanae Williams works closely with property owners, REITs, real estate investment trusts, developers, managers, leasing agents, and realtors and brokers in an assigned area. Is that District 1? Question mark. She is responsible for selling agreements of products and services to privately owned residential multi-dwellings, properties / communities, and check this out, and driving the penetration within the properties and communities. Driving the penetration. What that means for all you silly young people is that she assists with getting developers and projects into communities, entering a market to develop and make money for her clients. And as I mentioned, she's the chairperson for Community and Mental Health Services Committee. But again, what did they do? But listen, I got to be fair, right? I did find one thing that they did, and this is something that seems to be very popular among our elected officials. When they want to actually do something for the people, they then pass legislation to name a month, whatever it is, that they want to support. And in this case, Shanae Williams and the council passed legislation to name the month of May Mental Health Awareness Month. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Because naming a month for Hispanic heritage or Italian American or poor people month does very little to address any issue whatsoever. So what is the point? That's great. That's great. But how has that helped with the mental health problems that we have? And also in my research, I just found something I thought was very interesting as well. HR Bill 3698, Community Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services Improvement Act of 1992. It was passed with the House Energy Commerce. It ran, I'm sorry, no, that's the wrong thing. Well, this was a bill that was passed in 1992 to address mental health issues, and basically just another bill that gives money to states so then they can allocate to God knows where, right? Like the Build Back Better bill and all these other bills that they pass that come with billions of dollars that end up where? Remember the crime bill? Joe Biden? That did more to damage families, particularly African-American families. Shanae Williams, just want to school you a little bit, for generations to come. Do you support Joe Biden? Because he destroyed Black families, not just the individual that went to jail, but for generations to come. And there are studies that you can read if you want to further educate yourself on the matter. But again, this is another bill that was passed that gave money to states. So are these committees just created so they can receive funding from the state and then do absolutely nothing? That's what it seems like to me. Well, the reason why I titled the podcast The Leader That Only Failed Once, because Shanae Williams, district leader or leader for District 1, council member for District 1, ran recently against Tim Idoni for Westchester County Clerk. No one thought she would win, except for her, I'm sure. And she lost, like everyone thought would happen. And she put a post about it, a very cheerio post to make herself feel better. And in that post, she said, for the first time in her 30-something years of living and existing on this planet, she has finally known what it's like to fail. Really? Losing to Tim Idoni in the race for Westchester County Clerk was your first ever experience in failing at something in life? Man, you are got the most amazing person I think I've ever heard of. Most people fail more than once, especially on their way to success, because success does not come without failures. And many times, failing lots of times, that is how we learn, and that is how we improve, and that is how we succeed. However, she is used to always succeeding up until very recently. But I would like to say, Council Member Shanae Williams, that I don't necessarily agree with you. I can show you many failures that are attributed to you. such as your district and the drug addiction problem and the mental health issues that obviously are happening in your district. It seems like the only thing that you've done and the rest of the council is help out the developers, get their buildings here. But you leave Getty Square looking, you know, third world country-ish. Many of the business owners there are complaining. I speak to them. I ask them out of curiosity. I have a video posted on my page that you did not comment on, which you could have on Instagram, that shows a man laid out in front of a business. The business owner attempting to get the man up so his clients or customers could enter his business and he can conduct business was having trouble doing so. The man was inebriated on some kind of substance. And this happens every day. Just take a walk down your district. Don't go jogging only by the pier. Don't just go and eat at Xavier's or the Dolphins. Walk through Getty Square. Go shop at C.H. Martin. Go to the 99-cent store. It's okay. I do it all the time. That's why I pick up a lot of my gum for, that they sell at CVS for $5. Get it there for cheap. Yes. So you can do the same and explore your neighborhood. I go there to get my haircuts as well. I also eat at Yonkers Fried Chicken. I will confess. Guilty pleasure. The chicken is great. Have you ever eaten at Yonkers Fried Chicken, Shanae Williams? No, because you are not involved truly. For you, it's about show. It's about vanity. It's about being seen. Why else would you mention in the middle of a meeting that you are the youngest member of the council? And because you are the youngest member, you support youth initiatives. Well, there are a lot of youth in your district that are addicted to K2. Have you supported any anti-K2 initiatives? Have you supported any put a roof over the head of the young people in your district initiatives? No, not that I've seen, but again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And this is why I wanted to do this podcast, because you can state that you are here for your constituents and that you will do everything in your power to represent them. But what I see and what a lot of other people see is quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite. And it's unbelievable that you are the chairperson of the Community and Mental Health Services Committee, yet you are doing absolutely nothing when it comes to the community and mental health. Besides naming the month of May Mental Health Awareness Month. How ironic. You bring little to no awareness, yet you pass legislation to name May the month that is Mental Health Awareness Month. That is unbelievable. Well, that's the background there for Shanae. Now, why is it that Shanae says one thing and does absolutely the opposite? Because Shanae doesn't operate on her own. She is controlled, again, like many other council members. And who is her handler? Well, once again, Mr. Zahi Jeris. Zahi Jeris supports, funds, and manages, strategizes for Councilwoman Shanae Williams. She must do what they say in order to continue her career in politics. It was their idea to put Shanae against Tim Idoni. From what I hear, the mayor was upset that he was running for Westchester County Clerk. I'm hearing that the mayor either wants or wanted the Westchester County Clerk position, or maybe running against Congressman Bowman. But Shanae Williams was put up against Tim Idoni to give him a hard time. Some people were upset that he ran for the seat. And Shanae, of course, went with it because she believed with every fiber of her being that she was going to win, and didn't. But you need to do a good job at being a council member if you want to move up. You have to be out there in your community. You have to actually be doing something, not just saying what you're going to be doing or what you want to do or what you want us to believe that you're doing. We know that Zehi Jeris is behind you. And I find it very funny that you guys argue with each other. I don't know if that's show, because sometimes you're cool and sometimes you're not. And I wanted to share a picture really quick before I forget. It's an interesting picture. And tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about this picture. And just to prove what I, kind of support what I've been saying. Can you see that? That is the majority leader. Behind there is Mr. Zehi Jeris' son. This is Frankie Jeris, the great strategist of Yonkers politics. He is the one that comes up with the idea of using minority women. Because how can anyone vote against a minority woman? What a strategy. That's how we're used. Very simple. And Shanae Williams is another puppet. So we must go along the string and find out who are the puppet masters, pulling the strings, telling these individuals how to legislate, how to operate, while selling us dreams. I hope I'm wrong. I hope she proves me wrong moving forward. But the reality is, that's not going to happen. Because again, it's not up to her. It's up to Mr. Zehi Jeris and his precision strategies. Again, I mentioned Mr. Jeris yesterday in regards to the judges race that will be coming up in June, the primaries. I was told that Judge Ada Medina was hiring or had hired Precision, the company owned by Zehi and son Frankie Jeris there, you saw behind Majority Leader Tasha Diaz, to run her campaign come June. I reached out to the judge. She said she had not made a decision on that yet. However, she did not deny it or say that that was completely false or that they were not even anywhere around or considered at all. So it's a possibility. But from what I was told, she had hired them. Again, if one person controls a majority of our elected officials, what do you think is going to happen? Why do you think we see nothing happening? Why do you think you go down in Getty Square and it's almost like Nightmare of the Living Dead? Not to insult anybody, but you got guys holding on to metal gates, trying to stand up for dear life. Dudes on the floor, people hanging out there from early morning to the time they can go back into the shelters or wherever it is that they go back to at that point in time. You can smell the K2 in the air. Young kids walk by. And not that there's not police there, because at a certain time, usually there is a bunch of kids, but that's not the big issue. The kids, they go home. That's not the issue. Sometimes it's fights here and there, but that's not the issue. It's every day. The homeless, the drug addiction, and those suffering from mental health. At any given day, you can go down Getty Square and see someone yelling at themselves or arguing with someone that's imaginary. So what are we doing? What are we doing to address this issue? This is your district, and you are the chairperson of the Mental Health Services Committee. Getty Square looks crazy. Crazy. And many people are scared to go there. I've heard people say that I'll never go to Getty Square. That place is scary. I feel a certain type of way because I'm like, I don't feel so scary. Like, I feel like I'm from there. It's my hood. Like, but yeah, some people are truly like scared. Like Getty Square is a S-hole, and I see that on Facebook. I see the comments that people make. But when our elected officials don't work for the people, they work for individuals like Zehi Jeris and other individuals that have hidden agendas, they're not going to get anything done. They're not going to represent the people. And we see that time and time again. And this is why I'm doing this. This is why I am doing my podcast, and I'm putting them to task. I'm putting their feet to the fire, I should say. Okay, we're going to talk about it. Let's expose it. What are you doing? What are you doing? Talking all that talk, but what are you doing? So I believe that you failed more than once. You failed your district. You failed your constituents. Those developments are forcing your constituents out. Rent is going up because of the developments. Investors are coming in. You ain't stopping them, buying the property there, jacking up the rents after they renovate them, because they know once Lionsgate is fully opened up, the people that are going to work on these sets and stuff are going to need somewhere to live. And they're going to take up the housing around that area. And it's going to cause the prices to go up. You have an MBA? So I expect that you know that. I expect that you see this coming around. And you're not doing anything for your constituents, because the majority of your constituents can't afford to live in those developments. So you can say you're for the housing ordinance, but if you all know playing your political games, like the post that you commented on said, it doesn't matter if you vote yes, because you know it's not going to happen. And that's just to make you look good. The City Council is bought and paid for by the Spano and Associates. Well, yeah, a majority of them are, if not all of them. It's not all of them. So, it saddens me when I see my people celebrating because, oh, yeah, we got a Latino, we got a Latino, or we got a Black. And, and I know that at the end of the day, they're not really helping us, though. They're not really helping you. Who said it? Dave Chappelle, right? He said it. He said the politicians are not helping you because the white guy was all happy about Trump. Trump don't care about you. He care about folks like me. People that got money. And even though he was Black, the point is that he has money. It's about class. They want us to think it's about race. It's about class because, again, we have a majority female, right? Council, minority women. But what is being done for the minorities here in Yonkers? What? And I'm not saying we should only focus on them. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is that they represent districts that are primarily Latino, Hispanic, and Black. And they don't do anything. They don't do little events, little handouts, but that's it. No real substance, no real programs that help people perpetuate and move forward and break the cycle of poverty or help people with their mental health issues. And if they do have some kind of support, it's usually by just handing it off to an organization like the Westchester Jewish community, whatever. They get all these contracts to do the mental health stuff, and they just, oh yeah, just go see them. Just go see them. That's it. So they can make money because they're involved in everything too, those people. She should utilize all the nonprofits. The mental health fallout from the pandemic is and will be massive, all ages, with them to establish. Yes, I agree. But this is what I'm saying. So when I'm talking about that legislation that they passed, and I'm going to read it here real quick on on making May National or the Mental Health Awareness Month. I mean, that's why they did it. They say because for anyone suffering from mental health issues, you are not alone. There are several places to which you can reach out for support. This is what they do. This is from the YPL.org, Yonkers Public Library. So they don't even have a website, okay? The Mental Health Services Committee doesn't even have a website and nothing. How do they communicate with people? How do they engage people, right? So they have it on the Yonkers Public Library, and it just basically they just point them in the direction of another agency. And I get it. Yeah, we should get all the nonprofits, but we also have to understand that all the nonprofits are not necessarily on the up and up, right? So we have to get with the right nonprofits, the ones that actually want to see people get better or get help or get the services that they need and provide results, because it's all one big racket. Keep the money circulating between certain nonprofit organizations, certain individuals, certain businesses, right? It's like that with the jobs, right? Keep it. And by the way, I want to say shout out to the person. Today I was walking into a store. I was going to an ATM to get some money to get my breakfast. And as I'm crossing the street at the park of my car, somebody yells my name. And it kind of startled me. I looked back, and it was a gentleman in a DPW vehicle. I won't say what kind of vehicle it was. That's all I'm going to give. And I won't say where I was at, just in case Mr. Retaliator, not Terminator, Retaliator. Because I see that little picture, the EHO has with the Terminator eye. That's all I'm going to say. You decipher that. EHO, Terminator eye. You guys decipher that. But anyway, I'm crossing the street, and so DPW guy yells my name. He goes, I follow you. I like what you're doing. I follow you. And I said, all right, I go, thank you, man. He goes, I'm one of the few though, right? He goes, I'm one of the few, not everybody, I said, why? Is it, the guys at DPW, they don't, a lot. Yeah, you know how it is. He goes, you know how it is, but I understand, man. And I like you. I like what you're doing, man. Keep doing your thing. And I said, well, listen, just let the guys know that, it's not about them, and I'm trying to help them. It's for them. But I could understand who would be mad at me, those that got the favors done for them, right? But I wouldn't ask you guys to get fired. You guys are in there already. So, you can stay. But moving forward, that has to change, right? Moving forward. And that guy knew why, because he wasn't somebody that got in through a favor. And I'm sure he has, friends and other people that he knows that would love to get the job as well, but they're not getting in because they allow a small percentage to get in the right way. And then, they do favors for other people, right? So, like I said, look at the people that got in after the elections that got hired at DPW, right? And how many, or which one of them's, how many, or how long, I should say, were their applications on file, right? Or were they submitted? How long, right? That's something to look into. But I thought that was dope, man. So shout out to that guy from DPW, man. He recognized me. It's a little strange, but he shouted me out. He said he liked what I was doing, and to keep doing it. He supports me. Some people at DPW support me. So that's what's up. He says, not everybody, but I understand. Again, some people are Tom Meyer team Tom Meyer, team Tom Caterman, whatever his name is. Anyway, no percentage gets in the right way. The only way is through the mayor's office. Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know how, this guy, I don't even know the guy, so I don't even know, but I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But he supported me. So I'd assume that he wasn't, one of the ones that got the favors, because I would think that they are the group that don't really favor Freddy Vazquez. But, that's cool. So it's good to see, people watching the show and following. But yeah, so I've talked about that a little bit. But these are the things that happen here in the city, right? And our elected officials, I mean, look, we've talked about this even with minorities, on the police department or in other, city jobs, right? I mean, now I started seeing it more now, but even then, did they really speak out about that? Shanae, you've been there for a while. Did you? So again, what are you guys doing for your constituents? Because it seems like you are representing a certain group. They're not your constituents. They don't live even in the city of Yonkers. They may do business here. They make a lot of money here, but they are not your constituents. They are not your constituents. And you have a lot to tackle there, Councilwoman Shanae Williams. You have a lot to tackle in your district. Okay. I don't care if you're the mayor's girl. Got to work. Okay. You can't just sit there and look cool and be happy that you're the youngest in the council. Okay. That's not, you got to do more than that. And you're a member of the NAACP. And I've, supposed to be meeting with them, to discuss some of my views, my post. And you're a member, you're a part of it. Well, yeah. What's up with the housing thing? I mean, you got into it with Tasha Diaz. Well, she did most of the yelling, the majority leader, but what did you do after that? Like, how did you follow up? You just threw your hands up and you done? Oh, you guys are going to come up with something now, more robust. Huh? Why is that? Why didn't you follow through and come back if you were so adamant about that? And these are your constituents. Again, the majority of your constituents cannot afford to live in the developments that you are supporting. You are not even fighting for local labor, although you say that. And you're really not fighting for the poor, because the poor are getting shafted in your district. They are. They're getting moved away from the pier, from the water. They can't live there. The rents are going up. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I want to see more. We all got to, expect more from them. And this is changing. I'm telling you, people are watching. So it's going to change. And I just want to put that out there. And I want to put that out there. It's serious stuff. And I want to make sure that people know that, because I don't know if a lot of people actually knew about. I didn't even know they had a community and mental health services committee. And now I find out that she's the chair. So we have to change. We have to change the individuals, because again, they're not here for you. They're here for the Zahi Jerises, right? And all the other powers that be that control them. They do exactly what they want. They play a game with everyone, and they string you along. They throw you crumbs and expect you to be happy with that. And then they do the real impactful stuff, the real stuff of substance. They do it for developers, business buddies, donors, because it's all about the donors. It's all about the donors. Who is on the committee? Well, you have the city council president, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, Mike Breen. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm lying. He's not on it. Anthony Moranti, John Rubo, and Corazon Pineda Isaac, who I also would imagine would have an interest in seeing the committee do something. Her district has been plagued by violence, drug addiction, and I'm sure mental health. I had a video that I shared about it, on a guy that was laid out. I thought he was dead, but apparently he's a staple in District 2. And everyone knows him. He gets drunk, and to the point where he passes out, and he's dead. So he wasn't dead, but still, children see this shootings. A 6-year-old was shot in District 2. 4 people at one time was shot over the summer in District 2. And what are they doing? What have they done? Folks of color, I'm talking to you now, my beautiful brown-skinned folks, okay? Think about it. What have they done for you? What have they done for us? What? What have they done for the kids? Think about it. You have to think about this. So if we want, things, if you want things for your community, you have to go out and vote. And you have to make sure you make an informed vote, and you know who you're voting for and what they've done. Enough of the lip service. Enough. And that's what it is for my podcast on Council Member Shanae Williams, another puppet in the council chambers. Says one thing, but does absolutely nothing. I'm going to be around, council member, in District 1. So if you're doing your job, and I know you work, I get it, you got a job. But again, if they can't commit to doing the job that's necessary, then maybe you shouldn't do the job. It's not cool to collect $50,000, $60,000 and do absolutely nothing, and to get some more money for stipends from being on committees and do absolutely nothing. And whatever other money, you know what's up. Anyway, that's my show on Shanae Williams. Any comments, questions, or concern? I didn't see anyone comment and correct me on anything, so I must be right. Anyone correct me? Am I wrong? Had they done something? The Community and Mental Health Services Committee? Is there anything that they've done that's impactful? What are they doing? How are they working to address the mental health issues? Obviously, in District 1, somebody committed suicide, a little over a week ago, and another person tried to get the police to kill him because he wanted to die. 24 years old. I didn't hear the councilwoman mention it, talk about it, nothing. Nothing. What are they doing? City council should be a full-time job. They get a good salary. Absolutely. How many people are making $65,000 plus the perks that they get, like a vehicle and every other perk, that they get? Well, and Councilman Breen said that because he's a councilman, he gets permits pretty easy. He even said that himself. So how many people are making that or getting all that, and it's a part-time job that they don't even really have to show up to? Because they don't. They show up on Tuesdays. That's it. On Tuesdays. And then they can't even get that right. And I've never heard them mention the Community and Mental Health Services Committee, although I don't watch every meeting, but I do hear the Real Estate Committee a lot. Real estate, and Budget Committee. So, we have to expect more and demand more and put them to the test. You say you're going to do that, we're going to watch you and we're going to be on you. Are you going to do it? What are you doing? Are you doing it? What are you doing? What are you doing? You got to be on them. Committee for Better Yonkers, tell me exactly what they have done in Yonkers. Well, yes, the Community for Better Yonkers is an organization that claims to be a committee for a better Yonkers, although they haven't done nothing. And in fact, they have donated to Shanae Williams' campaign. The Committee for Better Yonkers is a organization, a committee funded by developers, let's say lawyers, realtors, looking to do business, particularly in District 1. And they've donated to Shanae Williams' campaign. What have they done? Absolutely nothing. And there's a connection with the Committee for Better Yonkers in Albany, right? The person that filed to start the organization was actually a receptionist at the New York State office, the New York State Senate's office. Her husband works or is a member or is on the Board of Ethics here in Yonkers. But this unethical committee that attacked the city council president in the worst way, that is simply here to create propaganda and attack certain individuals, funds people like Council Member Shanae Williams by donating to her campaign. But it's a corrupt organization. It's a corrupt committee. They have no interest in bettering Yonkers, not for the people that live here, not for the majority of Council Members Shanae Williams' constituents. Because again, majority of your constituents, Councilwoman, cannot afford to live there. You're getting new constituents. Is that what you want? You want new constituents? You want the richer ones? Free city car, gas, cell phone. Oh, cell phone, health insurance as well, plus tips here and there. That package worth $100,000, right? And it's a part-time job. And how often will you see them at City Hall? How often will you see them in the community? Learn who your council member is, your council representative, if you don't know, for your district. And I'll tell you now, Council Member Shanae Williams, District 1, Councilwoman Corazon Pineda Isaac, District 2, Majority Leader Tasha Diaz, District 3, District 4 is Councilman John Rubo, District 5 is Mike Breen, and District 6 is Mr. Anthony Marenti. District 1 and 2 and District 3 are in the south side of Yonkers, the areas that are predominantly in need of help. And what are they doing besides collecting money? They have lied, cheated, and stolen elections. Yeah. Yeah. They call you a conspiracy theorist, though, if you say that. I wonder who is in charge of that organization. Well, it only lists Roseanne Gallego or something, Gallego, I believe. Her husband is Dennis, a member of the Yonkers Board of Ethics. Very ethical, that committee, won't you say, Dennis? Hey. So, yeah. So this is the games that are being played. I mean, again, Council Member Shanae Williams, I'm putting you to task. I'm calling you out on the stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't done anything in your district. Absolutely nothing. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay? Your district is horrible. It is. It is in complete despair. It's run down. It's scary for some folks to walk through, and I can understand why. You haven't reached out to me when I've been in your district actually helping your constituents. It's not like you didn't know. So if you want to do something, why haven't you reached out to me? You don't like me? It's the first time I did a podcast on you. So it's horrible, and you're doing a horrible job, and you failed more than once. Okay, so stop the nonsense. Stop telling people how young you are in the council meetings. We don't care to know information like that. Stick to the facts, just the facts. All right. You don't care if you're the youngest or you think you're the prettiest or the smartest. It doesn't matter. Just get the job done because you're not doing that. You're not getting the job done. And I'm going to call you out on it every time. Every time. So I'll be waiting to see if things change. I love orange juice. Orange juice is great. So there you have it, folks. Another council member not doing their job, although claiming to do their job, claiming to be for their constituents, claiming to do everything in their power to improve the quality of life for her constituents, which include veterans, seniors, underprivileged, those suffering from mental health and drug addiction. However, most of her efforts have been for those developing in her district. She's very familiar with the real estate and development world. So it makes sense. As Carolyn Marie likes to say, connect the dots. Don't be fooled by the way they appear and what they say. Look at their actions. It will speak louder than words. As Mr. Ruros from the Yonkers Voice likes to say, actions, not words. No one puts him to task like Freddy Vazquez, and I will always do so. Unless I'm too busy to. That's your episode for today, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. The leader that only failed once. Well, I showed you tonight, folks, that she's failed miserably. Miserably since 2018 when she first appeared in the city council. And hopefully soon we'll get many of them to disappear from Yonkers. I am Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you for joining me, folks. I appreciate you. I really do. Thanks for the support. Shout out to homeboy from DPW. They like me. They really do. They like me. And I love you guys too. I do this for the people. I don't do it for my pockets. Learn the difference because there is. Look at the individuals who are the puppet masters pulling the strings. And that says it all. Yonkers, we have a lot of issues that we need to address, and it's time that our officials who are tasked with doing so address these issues. That is why I do my show. It's nothing personal. It's politics. Game over.
No!